Welcome to Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by Audi. Here's your host, Eric Allen.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Eric Allen here with Nick Mangold and Bart Scott. We have plenty of football presents here on this Christmas Eve. The Jets have 3 games remaining. They were officially eliminated from postseason contention last week. What's the message inside the locker room right now for these players?
This is a tough one, and having gone through this a couple times myself, anytime you're mathematically eliminated, all of a sudden you think we have nothing to play for. But the biggest thing is pride. And so if you're going out there, putting your best foot forward, it shows a lot to a team. And the 2024 season starts now because this is a tryout period.
Oh, I like that.
These guys are working to say, hey, listen, I can't show it in the spring. I better show it now that I can tackle, I can block, and do these things. So it's going to be a big 3 games for guys that are on the bubble end of the roster.
The 2024 season starts now, says Nick. Hey, bottom line, misery loves company here. Jets are 5-9 out of the playoffs. The Washington Commanders, this weekend's opponent, they're 4-10. They're out of the playoffs as well.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for the Commanders as well. But, you talk about, Nick's talking about being able to play for the right to be able to continue to be in this league. Every year, this league has about 35% turnover, and you want to make sure that you're on the right side of that 35% and continue to have an opportunity to play a child's game that we love to play. This should be an exciting game. This is the last opportunity for the Jets to play in front of their home crowd. You have to make sure that you sell hope for the future.
Let's go inside the numbers right now, presented by the New York Lottery. Our first number today, Nick, is 1. Quincy Williams is the only player in the National Football League with 100-plus tackles, 10-plus tackles for loss, 10-plus pressures, and 8-plus pass defenses.
It's pretty solid. That makes you number 1.
That's an all-around game.
That's a lot of tackles. 100 tackles is a lot of tackles. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
He's a stat stuffer, isn't he, Bart?
Yeah, no, that's all good. No, he's actually playing well, and his first year as a starter, solidified starter, he showed and proved why they saw something in him, even though he hadn't proven that he can put this type of season together. They anticipated and projected that, and that's smart locking this guy up, because if he was hitting the market here after a season he had right now, I don't know if we're
Jets don't have to worry about that. He is locked up. Let's get to our second number. That is 8. Breakout star Bryce Huff is a team-high 8 sacks, the second most in the league among any undrafted player.
He's not even a starter. He plays sporadically, and the fact that he can come in and kind of be a specialist, but I think what he's also proven that he can be stout against the run as he continues to develop his game and make it a complete game. The next step is for him to be a solidified starter and be able to give you, 60 or 70 snaps a game, which is probably about 90% of the game snaps.
Nick, I think you're going to like our third number. That is 31, because we're going to Columbus. We're going to Ohio State. We're going to Garrett Wilson.
You can't say Ohio State without saying
The Ohio State University. Garrett Wilson in his second season. He now has catches in 31 straight games, tying Wesley Walker for the 4th longest streak of at least 1 catch to start a career.
Listen, that's what the Buckeyes do. They just always produce, and that's what Garrett Wilson's doing. And so I think that kind of streak is really exciting to see, and I hope he continues to do it.
Good stuff. Let's find out what's brewing right now. Here's Caroline Hendershot and Ethan Greenberg.
It's time for What's Brewing, presented by Dunkin'. The Jets run on Dunkin'.
Ethan, we got some Christmas Eve football on the calendar with Jets Commanders. Now, I have a question for you. Who is making the nice list?
Well, there's a long list, but let's just start at the top because he's number 1, Sauce Gardner. He wasn't targeted once against the Miami Dolphins. He's been in the NFL 2 years. He has 2 games where he has not been targeted once with at least 20 coverage snaps. And get this, Caroline, since week 3, he's allowed a combined 17 receptions, 143 yards, and no touchdowns.
I mean, that sounds like a Pro Bowl year to me, but you know who else is having a Pro Bowl year? Quincy Williams. Not only is it Pro Bowl, it's a personal career year for him, because he's getting personal best in tackles, tackles for loss, quarterback hits, and passes defense. He's PFF's number 6 graded linebacker with at least a minimum of 80% of the snaps, but he's number 1 in coverage grades.
He's having a great year. I hope you make the nice list.
I don't think I will.
Coming up, Eric Allen will sit down with Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information. Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by Moody's, proud partner of the New York Jets.
So I feel like this year is kind of a lost year now that I only played a couple snaps and wasn't able to go out there and improve what I'm capable of and see what we're capable of as a team. I don't think that next year will be my last year.
Aaron Rodgers indicated earlier this week that he won't play this season, but what can you say about how hard he worked himself to get to a point where it was even a consideration?
It's amazing. Like I've said, you can question someone's why and all the narratives around it, but you cannot question his heart. And he's not even going to stop. He's not calling it quits in terms of just trying to coast through. He's grinding. He wants to make sure he has an unbelievable offseason. His intent is to win a championship.
What's your reaction when he talks about not only playing in 2024, but beyond that?
I think he's going to play further than 25, to be honest with you. I think he'll play until his wheels fall off. He's just that type of competitive person, but I think he'll go as long as he can.
What does he provide on the practice field? Just watching him go through individual drills, take the snaps from under center, go on the boots, and just throw the ball in 7 and 7.
He brings life to the group in terms of just the little side conversations, the smack talking with the defense, the interaction that he has with his teammates, playing a prank on a coach, whatever it might be, just to keep guys engaged, keep guys having fun out there, which is always the one thing that you can lose in this game once in a while. But it's his presence and just knowing how to be a good human and a good teammate.
It was improbable going into last weekend, but once you guys are officially eliminated from postseason contention, what do you say to the guys when they get back here?
The message doesn't change. We're still preparing for something bigger. I know it may not happen this year, but there's things that we're all playing for. Whether you're still in your contract year, whether it's still a young guy trying to find a way to get better to propel himself into 2024, whatever your why is, it's really important that guys reconnect to that and understand that, at the end of the day, I've never subscribed to the idea that players stop playing. When you step across the white line and you put a helmet on, your resume is being built. I have yet to come across a player who has quit just because the season was over.
Let me ask you about some young guys who continue to ascend. Jeremy Ruckert, I think he's got about 16 catches now, but 11 of them have come in the last 5 games. What are you seeing from Ruck?
Ruck's been outstanding since the day he walked in this building. What's impressive about him is that it feels like he's getting stronger as the year is going on. I think he's done a great job taking care of his body, but in the past game, his ability to get those contested catches and giving those quarterbacks confidence, if you just put it in his vicinity, he'll go find a way to pluck it. Really excited about him and how he can finish the season.
Izzy Abanaconda, he's getting some touches here down the stretch. A rookie in a very talented backfield behind Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. What do you like from Izzy, and also can you talk about his process that he's gone through?
Yeah, love Izzy's juice, his speed. He's a good young man. Just on the few touches he had in the Miami game, you could see a lot of his speed and his juice show up, and so excited about his progress in the direction he's going.
Flip it to the defensive side of the ball. We often talk about Bryce Huff. If I told you before the season he was going to lead your team with 3 games remaining with 8 sacks, he was second in the National Football League in sacks among undrafted free agents, what would you have said?
Not surprised. Bryce is a darn good football player. What's great about Bryce is he's kind of evolved this game to be more reliable in first and second down. He's a guy that will continue to get better as his career progresses.
Solomon Thomas, he's not an old guy. He's not quite a young guy either. Career high 5 sacks. Kind of flies under the radar, doesn't he? And you're going to have to depend on him even more here down the stretch with some injuries in the middle.
Yeah, and he's been hurting too, but he's been finding a way to get himself prepared to play every week, get himself to Sunday, taking care of his body, being a pro, and the way he plays, he's absolutely relentless, and it's awesome to see him. I'm obviously one of Saleh's biggest fans, so he's awesome.
How about TA? You're in that starting spot at the safety position out of camp, and now he's been a regular in the defensive backfield.
Yes, TA, again, we joke around, but it's not a joke. He's an energy giver. He plays with so much juice and energy. The guys love him. He communicates really well. He's had some battle scars this year, but to be expected on a first-year safety. But at the same time, he's gotten better and better and better, and he's made some really good plays for us. And he's a guy that I think is going to continue to ascend in the right way, and he's going to be a staple here for a while.
How do you go about preparing for the Commanders? They seem like they sling it around quite a bit.
Oh yeah, they do a good job with it. Eric is doing a really nice job over there orchestrating the concepts and the run game and all that, but concepts they run are difficult. You know, quarterback is doing a really nice job standing in the pocket and delivering the football, and Sam has gotten a lot better just watching the tape. He can make every throw on the field. I wasn't expecting much, and what I've seen is a dude that's got a definite future in this league as a starter.
Let's end here. You know, what are the challenges for a coaching staff that you play Sunday, which is Christmas Eve? Christmas is Monday. Then I guess you'll have a full day Tuesday. You got to travel to Cleveland on Wednesday. You play the Browns on Thursday.
Coaching staff is easy. I think our families understand that we got some work to do. We got some unfinished business, and we'll still have opportunities to celebrate Christmas in the Saleh household. Might not be on Monday, but it could be on Sunday night.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
This exclusive interview with Robert Saleh was presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information.
Coming up, Bart Scott and Nick Mangold will break down the key matchups for this weekend.
This team is still bought in. I think this team still plays for one another. I think this team still loves one another.
Look in the mirror and make sure that we're doing the right things on the field, off the field, studying, staying healthy, all those things. All that plays a part. The mindset plays a part. You believing in it plays a part.
And he'll be sacked.
The message doesn't change. There's things that we're all playing for. Whatever your why is, when you step across the white line and you put a helmet on, your resume is being built. They go out there every time they step on the field, they play their absolute best. There's things that we're all playing for.
This film breakdown is brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Let's get into some telestration right now with Nick and Bart. This pass rush is going to give the Washington Commanders a lot of trouble here this weekend. They are not going to have any time to open their presents, I don't think, on Christmas Eve.
Sam Howell is the most sacked quarterback in all of the NFL, and with great reason. They like to take deep shots down the field and go for those home run plays. Sometimes when you go for the Sammy Saucer, you strike out. It's about rushing as a unit. You got Will McDonald, who's playing a lot better right now. And of course, good old, faithful, reliable Quinnen Williams is going to be able to provide a lot of pressure from the inside. And if you block him one-on-one, good luck with you, right? And so you go here and you look at Tua Tagovailoa. Right here, right now, we got the wide nine. We have Will McDonald coming here with the nice speed rush. He's going to come around here. But then what happens is, it forces Tua Tagovailoa to step up. And I always talk about this. You have to be able to release from blocks. Quinnen Williams arm over. They tackle him high-low. Quinnen gets a half a sack for Will McDonald. That's how you rush as a unit. Perfect harmony.
Yeah, perfect harmony here.
Absolutely. Speaking of perfect harmony, right now the guy that's playing the perfect song is Bryce Huff right here. Bryce Huff's playing at a high level. If you ever look at a highlight film of sacks, it's going to feature a tight end. Right here we're talking about turn protection, where they're trying to turn the protection every way and come back and block Bryce Huff with a tight end. This is tough because it has to time up perfectly, and Bryce Huff is a speed to power guy right here. Uses his hands, arm over, gets quarterback depth, climbs up into the pocket with Tua Tagovailoa, and he didn't miss the layup.
You're going to love that matchup every time, Bryce Huff against tight end.
No, absolutely. And the Jets have been playing well, and now you have a multitude of players starting to feast.
All right, good transition. Let's go to Solomon Thomas. He's got a career-high 5 sacks.
Solomon Thomas is a guy that relies on speed and athleticism. He understands who he is, and as his play runs, he's going to shift here off the motion, like these guys moving from flex to rush and figuring it out. The center gets a good punch, but against a guy like Solomon Thomas, that gives him space and allows him to be able to use his quickness. A little bit off balance, but right here you see that he's got to an edge of a lineman, and the lineman arm is here, and now he has to reset. Solomon able to get here, spin back to depth, of course, right? As the counter move to the counter move. Tua sees that open hole, tries to exploit it by running up. And you got to also give credit to the back end because that's a bit of a covered sack, allowing Solomon to go to his second move and still have an opportunity to get a sack.
Don't expect those Washington Commander quarterbacks to be sipping eggnog back there in the pocket this weekend.
Don't go anywhere. Bart and Nick will put their coaching hats on and deliver the winning game plans.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife, the official insurance company of the New York Jets. This segment is presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Corner of Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh. Jets Commanders on the clock. Now, week 16, Ethan, if we still have some people playing fantasy football, that means they're probably pretty deep in the playoffs. So congrats are in order. Very nice job. But let's take a different approach this week. Let's talk about some streaming options that they can pick up on the Jets side of the football.
Ooh, I like where your mind's at, and my mind immediately went to Greg Zuerlein. Why? Because the last time the Jets played at MetLife Stadium, he accounted for 17 points from a kicker. If you're in the championship, if you're in the consolation bracket, if you're in the semifinal, you pray that your kicker accounts for 17 points, just like you pray you're not on the naughty list. And Greg Zuerlein has the 10th most field goal attempts in the NFL this season. He's made the 5th most field goals. This is a favorable matchup, okay? The Commanders, the dead last defense in the NFL, but a top 10 unit in goal-to-go efficiency. I understand the Jets didn't score last week. Law of averages, it's coming back around. Greg Zuerlein, a fantastic pickup if he's available.
I mean, they don't call him Greg the Leg for nothing, right? So he would be a great pickup, like you said, if he's available. Now, I'm going to go a little outside the box for mine, and hear me out. I think in these next 3 games, the Jets might give a couple more reps to some of the young players, and that's where tight end Jeremy Ruckert comes in, because he just had his 5th straight game with double-digit receiving yards. In his first 18 games of his career, he only had 1 game of 10-plus receiving yards. So he's really starting to pick up some heat in these last 5 games, and I think that's only going to continue in the next 3 weeks. So I just think he might be a sneaky pickup for this matchup specifically against the Commanders defense.
You're really trying hard to be on the nice list because Caroline, and it's documented, just shouted out an Ohio State Buckeye.
I did.
Well done. But look, we
Thank
didn't
you.
mention the Jets defense, and that's because probably not a viable streaming option because they're probably not available. If they are, if you're on your phone, if you're on your desktop, you want to check to see if they're available, and you happen to see that they are, sprint.
Go.
Go right now. Sprint like you're sprinting to your presence. Rip it open, add them to the lineup. Thank us later.
Yeah, because, come on, it's the Jets defense. Well, we hope that helps you set your lineups. And if you're in playoffs, good luck. If you're not, hopefully you didn't come in last. Happy holidays.
Today's game plan is presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress.
Let's get into our Christmas game plans right now with Saint Nick Mangold and the biggest, baddest elf around, the mad backer, Bart Scott. Okay, Saint Nick,
Yes.
what do the Jets have to do offensively to be jolly against the Commanders' defense that is ranked last in the National Football League?
Here's what they got to do. And St. Nick always comes at you and says, run the ball, right? And that's the
Yes,
gift.
he does.
That's the gift that keeps on giving all year long. Just run the ball. That's what we need to do. We need to establish up front, get the offensive line going, let them run the ball. Then from running the ball, you can do your play action passes, you can do your screen passes, but you got to establish the run.
Well, schematically, how do you go about doing that?
Well, running the ball, you just have to be able to attack their edges. They traded 2 of their best perimeter defenders. And let's just see what Izzy and Dalvin and Brees can do. But what that also does when you talk about playing on a short week is it shortens the game.
Gets
You know what I
everybody
mean?
home early for dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
That too.
Hey, so Brees Hall, Delvin Cook, and your guy,
Izzy.
Israel Bonaconda, starting to get some run now. Let's go to the other side of the ball. This seems like a perfect matchup for the Jets defense. They get after the quarterback. Sam Howell is a talented young player, but he holds on to it back there.
Yeah, because when you talk about the route concepts with Eric Bieniemy and this offense that he brought over from Kansas City, you know, he's really trying to line up shots. But to do that, you have to have the protection. The Jets have a formidable, you know, front 4 who can bring in a rotation of different types of pass rushers. And Sam Howell holding on to the ball, you know, you get a couple sack fumbles out there, you can really change the game and open it up and make them one-dimensional even earlier.
Best Christmas present ever.
It was pointless because I never learned how to play it, but the electric guitar when I was like 8.
I like that. I could see you playing guitar. How about you?
Well, man, that's sophisticated, man. I'm a simple creature. Come on, man. It was the Nintendo with the duck hunt. You know what I'm saying? When you run up there trying to shoot on the screen. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little older than Nick, so I got the first iteration of it. You know what I'm saying? By the time Nick came up, the Super Nintendo was coming out. He had the Genesis. He had the Super Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? He came out when Contra and Mike Tyson Punch-Out came.
Do you do math?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Many blessings to your family from ours. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and enjoy your football weekend.